Good morning, student. Students, we have learned in your first and second unit, particularly second unit of your course, the various metabolic pathways. So in that, the carbohydrate metabolic pathways, then lipid metabolic pathway and protein metabolic pathway we have studied. So in this various metabolic pathway, there is a integration in the various pathway. So today we'll study what is the integration of metabolic pathway. So how these pathways, they are interconnected with each other. So that is we study in this. So this pathway particularly include, one is glucose, suppose it is converted to ribose 5-phosphate. So this pathway is a pentose phosphate pathway. This is pentose phosphate pathway. Then second, glucose is converted to 2-pyruvate molecule. This pathway we have studied. So this is called as a glycolysis pathway or glycolysis. So that is glycolytic pathway. Third, glycogen, stored glycogen is converted into glucose. So this pathway is known as glycogenolysis. Okay. Next, triglycerides, triacylglycerol or triglycerides, they are converted to or broken down to glycerol and fatty acids. So this is called as a lipolytic pathway or lipolysis. This is lipolysis. Then fifth, fatty acids plus glycerol forms triacylglycerol. This particular pathway is called lipogenesis. This is lipogenesis. Okay. Then acetyl coenzyme A, which is formed by the breakdown of fat, protein and carbohydrate. So that is a common molecule. So that is converted to cholesterol. So this is called as a cholesterol synthesis. Cholesterol synthesis. Okay. Then next, acetyl coenzyme A can also be converted into ketone bodies. That is called ketogenesis. Okay. So these are the various pathway we have studied. Along with that, we have studied the transamination, okay, and gluconeogenesis. Synthesis of glucose from the non-carbohydrate source, that is pyruvate, glycerol, lactic acid. So this we'll study. Now how these pathways, they are interconnected, isn't it? So all these pathways, they are the intermediates of these pathways, they are interconnected, or you can say intertwined in between them. So they can enter or they can exit from the pathway, and they can use for the synthesis of the different molecules. Like a carbohydrate, you can be the fat can be synthesized from the carbohydrate. Proteins can be converted into carbohydrate, isn't it, through the gluconeogenesis pathway. So these are the various pathway that will elaborate how this pathway, they are interconnected with each other. Okay, the integration of metabolic pathway. So that is our important topic to be studied. Okay, so we'll start with the glucose. Okay, so as you know, glucose, this glucose is converted, undergo glycolysis, and it will give, in the process of glycolysis, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate or biphosphate, correct. Now this particular 1,6-bisphosphate, it is cleaved, this molecule is cleaved, and this will form the dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and another molecule is glyceride 3-phosphate. This we have studied. This pathway we have studied in detail. So now glucose is converted to these two important molecules. They are intermediate molecule in the glycolysis. Now these are the interconverted, dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceride 3-phosphate are interconverted. So you will get a 2 molecule of pyruvate and then acetyl coenzyme A in this process. So dihydroxyacetone phosphate is, you can say, it is converted to glyceride 3-phosphate, what, then pyruvate, and then acetyl coenzyme A. These are 2 molecules, okay, from these 2. Now this acetyl coenzyme A, as you know, it is undergo or enters into Krebs cycle, or TCA cycle, and it will give NADH plus H plus FADH2. This will enters into electron transport chain, as you know, and give rise to ATPs. Okay, so this is most important pathway where, so this particular pathway what we have listed out of this is a glycolytic pathway. So this is glycolytic pathway first. So glucose is converted to pyruvate, that is glycolytic pathway. Now this glucose also converted to most important molecule, that is called ribose 5-phosphate. Okay, ribose 5-phosphate. So more very important molecule, and this ribose 5-phosphate, when the glucose is converted to ribose 5-phosphate, the pathway is called as pentose phosphate pathway. Called pentose phosphate pathway. Okay, so glucose when you convert to ribose 5-phosphate, and this ribose 5-phosphate in this particular pathway, that is pentose phosphate pathway or hexose monophosphate shunt, we are saying. So this we have studied, and this will give the most important, isn't it, NADPH, which are required for as a reducing equivalent for the various biosynthetic process, and also gives a ribose 5 sugar for the synthesis of nucleotides. Okay, so that is the importance of this pathway, and this glucose glycolytic pathway is to get the energy, that is ATP, which is a breakdown of glucose. So this is about the first is the pentose phosphate pathway, and second is the glycolysis. Okay, now how this is a carbohydrate metabolism. Here you have a glucose converted into breakdown of glucose, or you convert it into pentose phosphate. Second is this glucose may be particularly in a post-fed state, or when the glucose level is more. So under the influence of insulin, glucose is stored, isn't it? So it is stored as a glycogen. What? So glucose is stored as a glycogen in the muscle or liver particularly. So this is called as a glycogenesis. So glycolysis, glycogenesis, and pentose phosphate pathways. These are the three important pathways as far as the carbohydrate metabolism is concerned. Okay, so this pathway we have studied. Now how this pathway they are interconnected, or you can say integrated with the other pathway like lipid metabolism and protein metabolic pathway that we will study. Now this dihydroxyacetone phosphate, isn't it? See, dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be converted into glycerol. So it can be converted into glycerol. What? Glycerol, important molecule, glycerol. And when it's glycerol, so this is glycerol. And we have fatty acids. Okay, so 3 fatty acids and glycerol molecule, fatty acids and glycerol. So that will give rise to triacyl glycerol. Okay, so triacyl glycerol or triacyl glycerol is a fatty acid plus glycerol. So glycerol is from the dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be converted to glycerol, and which can be used for the synthesis of fatty acids, synthesis of fat, that is triglycerol, triglycerides by the fatty acids. Okay, using fatty acids. Fatty acids, they are long chain fatty acids like 16 chain fatty acids. 16 carbon chain fatty acids. Now this glycerol is 3 carbon. Okay, dihydroxyacetone is also 3 carbon compound. As you know, these are 3 carbon. This is 6 carbon compound. 6 carbon compound. So this is split into 3 carbon, and then glycerol. So this is process is called as a glycerol synthesis. Okay, so that is glycerol synthesis process. So glycerol is synthesized from dihydroxyacetone. Now these fatty acids which are formed here can be converted to acetyl coenzyme. So this oxidation of fatty acids, the process we call as a beta oxidation. The process beta oxidation of fatty acids results into formation of two carbon compound, that is acetyl coenzyme A. Particularly long chain fatty acid like 16 carbon compound there, or even chain fatty acids, there the beta oxidation of the even chain fatty acids to give rise to acetyl coenzyme, and this acetyl coenzyme can further be oxidized further in the TCA cycle. Okay, so that is a beta oxidation. Now this acetyl coenzyme A here which is formed also can be converted into fatty acid. Okay, and this will results into this will give rise the most important fatty acids and glycerol molecule, that is trialkyl glycerol. It's a triglycerides. Okay, so the fatty acids can be converted into, this process is called as lipogenesis. Okay, so this is another pathway. So acetyl coenzyme A from the glycolytic pathway, from the carbohydrate, can be converted into can be used for synthesis of the fatty acids. Then glycerol from this carbohydrate can be synthesized from the dihydroxyacetone phosphate and can be converted into fatty acids and can be converted into trialkyl glycerol. Okay, so this this pathway, they are interconnected. Now also we have studied most important thing, when there is accumulation of the acetyl coenzyme A, TCA cycle, when it is saturated, or during, if you say, when there is a fasting state, starvation, or during the condition like diabetes mellitus we have studied. So this acetyl coenzyme A, when this TCA cycle is saturated, because of deficiency of oxaloacetate, this acetyl coenzyme A is converted into ketone bodies. The ketone bodies, they are formed as a source of energy. Okay, so the ketone bodies are formed, and the process is called as a ketogenesis. What? So acetyl coenzyme A can be converted into ketone bodies when there is a, you can say, hypoglycemia, deficiency of glucose, there is a excess breakdown of fat, isn't it? When the excess breakdown of fatty acids as a source of energy, and this acetyl coenzyme converted into ketone bodies, and these ketone bodies can be important source of energy for the extrahepatic tissue, particularly brain, cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, like that. Okay, so this is about how the acetyl coenzyme A may be sourced from the either from the carbohydrate, either from the fat, or either from the proteins. This can give rise to ketone bodies, excess breakdown of the fatty acids or fat. Right? Now this acetyl coenzyme A also can be used for synthesis of most important molecule, that is cholesterol. This you know, the cholesterol. So cholesterol, it is synthesized from the acetyl coenzyme A. That's ketone bodies just form like that, cholesterol from the acetyl coenzyme A by the enzyme HMG reductase. coenzyme A reductase, isn't it? It is when the HMG coenzyme A is reduced, it is converted into, there are various biosynthetic process. So this is cholesterol synthesis. This cholesterol is important as a component of, you can say, cell membrane. So it is important for synthesis of the bile salts. Also the important precursor for various steroid hormones. So that is the importance of cholesterol. So this is the acetyl coenzyme A uses for the synthesis of the cholesterol. So this is how this is connected, the cholesterol synthesis process. Okay, so this is about the how the carbohydrate and lipid, isn't it? This is lipid pathways, they are interconnected. Okay, now this oxaloacetate is also used for synthesis of glucose, that also we will study afterward. Now in this there is a process called as a gluconeogenesis. This is very important, isn't process. So in gluconeogenesis there is a, this glucose molecule is synthesized from the, either from pyruvate converted into oxaloacetate and then PEP and glucose. Okay, then we can have a glycerol which is converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate, then fructose 1,6 biphosphate, and then glucose. Then we have a lactic acid. As you know, lactic acid is converted to pyruvate in the liver and converted to glucose. So this process, these are the three important molecules where the gluconeogenesis. Now here we will see how this, now here we can see the pyruvate. Okay, we have a pyruvate molecule here. Now this pyruvate can be converted into oxaloacetate here, isn't it? As you know, pyruvate acetyl, and then it will come to malate, then oxaloacetate come out, and this oxaloacetate is converted into phosphoenol. There is one intermediate here in the phosphoenol pyruvate. It's most important intermediate molecule before the formation of pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate come to pyruvate. So this is a irreversible reaction, because these are the reversible reaction. Okay, so pyruvate can be converted to, through oxaloacetate can be converted to glucose. So that is gluconeogenesis from the non-carbohydrate sources, not from the glucose. The glucose is or glycogen. It is synthesized from the pyruvate. Then glycerol. Now here we are seeing the glycerol. This is also reversible. This is reversible. This is reversible reaction. So glycerol from the lipolysis, that is a degradation of fat, it is converted into fatty acid and glycerol. This glycerol can undergo, isn't it? Can from the glycerol DHAP is synthesized, and this will then, there is a enzymatic, isn't it? Various enzymes are involved, and there is a reversible reaction and synthesis of glucose. So that you can, from the glycerol can be synthesized. One more thing is that the pyruvate is also converted to lactate in an anaerobic condition by enzyme LDH, lactate dehydrogenase, and this lactate is carried to the liver, and then it is converted into pyruvate, and from pyruvate there is a gluconeogenesis pathway, like pyruvate converted to oxaloacetate to a PEP. There is enzyme, we have PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate CK. We have studied. Okay, so that PEP, and then there is a formation of all these things, reversible process. We have an enzyme here, the reaction which are not reversible. The enzymes that are involved, like glucose 6 phosphatase, isn't it? That enzymes which are present in particularly in the liver, and the glucose synthesis takes place. So that is from the lactic acid. So this way, this from the gluconeogenesis, we have this can be from the, then also amino acids can be converted to certain amino acid. With amino acid we have can be converted to glucose, subglucogenic amino acids, which are that I will study in the next when I'll study the protein metabolism. Okay, so integration of metabolism. Now here it is very interesting things how this all the metabolic process, they are intertwined or they are integrated with each other, and it's really amazing that how these molecules they are used for the synthesis of other molecules, so that the metabolic balance is maintained, particularly about energy. So carbohydrate fails to generate energy in a particular condition, it can be taken over by the fat, isn't it? And then also the secondary source, and then the tertiary source, protein breakdown. From this protein breakdown also the energy, like from the transamination process, isn't it? And the oxidative deamination process, this various intermediates of the cycles, the metabolic pathway, they are synthesized, and you get the ATPs. The ATPs can be synthesized from that. Now proteins, after that we have proteins is a, you can say, large source of energy. We have a large source of energy, proteins. Now the proteins, as you know, they are utilized, or they are not stored in the body, so the daily requirement is more in case of proteins, and the protein breakdown is more during severe stress condition, starvation, isn't it? In which, or there is if there is a fasting or starvation for long days, there is certain condition like diabetes mellitus, where the glucose is not a source of energy, cannot be utilized as a source of energy. So in that case the proteins, they are broken down. So proteins, they are, as you know, they are consist of, suppose this is and having the units, there are different units made up of various, as you know, in your general biochemistry we have studied the proteins, they are made up of amino acids, so they are joined together by the peptide linkage. Now having the one is amino terminal and carboxyl terminal. So proteins have amino terminals and carboxyl. So in general, if you see the amino acids, so these amino acids having the amino terminal, this alpha amino acid, it's R group, which is called as a functional group, and carboxyl group. This is the structure of amino acid. This we have studied amino acid. Any structure, this alpha amino acids we are saying, having the R group, that is functional groups. So each amino acid differ with each other on the basis of this functional group. Now these amino acids, particularly all amino acids, they are take part in various reactions, but alanine, aspartate and glutamate, they are major amino acids which take part in the process, or you can say in the process of transamination or deamination process. So these amino acids, amino acid react with Krebs cycle intermediate, it is keto acids. So we have Krebs cycle intermediate, and we have the amino acid. And now if you see the keto acids, Krebs cycle intermediate, particularly keto acids, so we have a alpha ketoglutarate is known. So if you structure the keto acid structure like this, having the keto group, and amino acids, as you know, having the amino group and carboxyl group. So alpha ketoglutarate is a Krebs cycle. Alpha ketoglutarate. We have a keto acid is a Krebs cycle intermediate, and here we have amino acid, any amino acid like alanine, aspartate, or glutamate. Okay, so they undergo most important reaction. It is called as a transamination reaction. That means from these keto acids and from amino acids, when they react, they will form the new amino acid and new keto acid. New amino acid, new keto acid, they are formed. And this reaction is a reversible reaction. This most important reaction is called as a transamination. Okay, so this is transamination reaction. Okay, and the enzymes here involved, they are called as transaminase. They are catalyzed by the transaminase. So here the proteins which are broken down, isn't it, to amino acids, they are consist of amino acids, and they are broken down to individual amino acids, and they are the most important amino acids, alanine, aspartate, and glutamate. And keto acids, it combines with the Krebs cycle intermediate like a keto acid, alpha ketoglutarate, having the keto group, and amino acid, any amino acid like alanine, aspartate, or glutamate, and they give rise to new amino acid and new keto acid. Now new amino acid here, suppose we have a, generally its form is a glutamate, isn't it? So glutamate is a new amino acid form, and the new keto acid is a form depends on which type of amino acids, whether with alanine, aspartate,